Emiko, I'm so excited to talk to you as if we don't talk every single day as it is. One of the reasons I'm excited to talk to you is you've basically headed our college program for close to 3 years now. So you've either worked with or kind of overseen the work with hundreds of kids with EF challenges and talked to many parents, and I'm excited to gain your insights. A lot of our kids we see are transitioning from high school to college, especially with kids losing a year or two of academic instruction. That's kind of your specialty. So what are your top couple recommendations when you're working with a kid now who's transitioning from high school to college?
Well, one of the biggest struggles for kids is the lack of structure. You go from having classes 7-8 hours a day, go to sports, and then go home, do your homework. It's really structured. And when you get to college, you lose all of that. That's probably the biggest struggle our students have, is learning when to have academic time and go to the library to work on assignments, when to carve out time to hang out with your friends, and all of those lines get really blurred, and having the discipline to keep up those routines is really hard. My top 2 recommendations is get out of your dorm room if you're studying. Find a place on campus.
I love that, yeah.
The library, coffee shops, and have like different spots for if you just need to get some busy work done versus really sitting down in a quiet place to study for a test or writing a paper. That's probably my number 1 recommendation to all my students. It's just get out of your dorm room. That's your space to relax, sleep, and we don't do academics in there.
You and I hear all the time, I can't focus in my dorm room. We associate that with so many other things, right? Or we hear the opposite, like I can't sleep because they've been trying to do homework in their bed and things like that. It's have a productivity space and then have a hanging out, sleeping, fun type space. So I love that.
And then the second one, I would just say stay consistent. So they have these weird schedules. If you have any breaks in your schedule, stay on campus and get your work done there, because then you can go home and unplug and relax. Or if your class schedule is blocked, stay on campus right after while you're in the mood to do academics. Maybe you're not in the mood, but again, it's like staying disciplined to that routine. Because then when you get home, you can, again, unplug, do whatever you want to do, hang out with friends, get dinner with friends.
We see the kids who they're on campus, they're not going back and forth or doing whatever. It's kind of painful in the moment. Like, I just got out of class, I have another class, maybe I should knock out 30 minutes of homework. But then they have so much free time when they get home and they're not stressed out and putting things off. And I know we've seen anxiety ramp up recently, and that's just such a huge way to decrease that anxiety and clear up that mental space when you get home.
Yeah, I tell all the students I talk to, I know I'm saying structure and routine a lot, which is really scary. It sounds boring. It sounds like a lot of work, but it's freeing up so much time for them at the end of the day or on a Friday night, Saturday, so they can actually enjoy the college experience, go to game day. Yeah.
So we took care of transitioning from high school or gap year, whatever, to college, which is a huge jump. But what about the students like myself who have a brutal semester, and whether they go on academic probation or they have to take a semester off or whatever that looks like? When you start helping those students to help them become successful in college, are those recommendations different at all?
They're very similar. One new one I would add is at the very beginning of the school year, getting into office hours, introducing yourself to your professor so they know who you are. I always tell my students, like, be candid with them. You can be open with them. You don't have to pretend like you're a perfect student. Let them know your struggles, and they can be there to support you along the way. Because if you keep them in the dark, they're going to think you're being irresponsible or being rude or don't care about their class, which obviously is going to set them up to not have a good semester. And it's always good to start the semester on the right foot.
That's such a good recommendation. If they know you're invested and they know you care, they're going to be on your side for the most part. That can feel like an intimidating situation, going and talking to your professor on the first office hours. How do we help with that?
One, remembering they're humans. They want your students to succeed. And then have the questions ready. You could even practice with your roommate, so when you walk in there, you know what to say. Because that's my problem. I'll walk in and be like, I'm here, help me. But if you go in with prepared questions, you'll get a lot more out of that interaction.
Absolutely. And role playing, like you said. Someone helped me role play, then I did it with my students, and it feels so goofy and weird. But once you have it, not only do you feel confident there, you feel confident in a lot of other things in your life. The other one too is having scripts in your email inbox. I know you've written that with a lot of kids. So what does that look like?
I have scripts with my students for when they need to miss class or when they're confused on a paper, kind of helping them understand, like addressing the problem and then having a very specific question so they can be direct and help you. Those are really important and helpful.
I know we put them in their draft inbox where, okay, here's the missed class one, here's the I need to access my accommodations or something like that. It's all just practice. One trend that I've seen is anxiety has just ramped up with our college students so much more in the past couple years than I've ever seen it. How do you work with this? What are your recommendations? How do we help kids?
The base of executive function coaching and helping is making sure our students are getting their basic needs. So sleep, diet, exercise. If they're not getting those, nothing nothing's going to improve.
Yeah.
So always making sure kids are getting enough sleep, also consistent sleep, so they're not doing an all-nighter and then sleeping for 13 hours. We don't want that. And then also exercise is one we push here a lot. Making sure kids are moving, getting those workouts in can have a waterfall effect, so just improving anxiety, improving focus.
We always want to go to the top of the pyramid. We want to go to organizational strategies. We want to go to accommodations. But what really helps anxiety more than anything is sleep, exercise, structures, and routines. So we've kind of talked about how we can do that. So that's always where we start. So thank you so much for helping us out. Thanks for all you do for all of our students.